Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from beautiful Costa Rica. Tonight's topic is going to be being unheard. Think about that for a minute. Guys, if you like the content, please subscribe. So what does being unheard exactly mean? It means that when you were in the narcissistic relationship, this is what was happening. You were being unheard throughout the whole relationship. Because the narcissist, remember, they care about one person, which is not you. They care about themselves and they care about what you provide for them. Like I mentioned so frequently, all of your resources, your time, your money, your energy, your empathy, your effort, your love, your connections, your status, all of these things, that's what the narcissist cares about. They don't love you, they never have. And being unheard is a very difficult thing to go through, specifically when you're in a narcissistic relationship, but this is exactly where the narcissist wants you. You see, the narcissist doesn't want to hear you unless it benefits them. They certainly didn't care about your emotions, your feelings, your direction that you were going and your goals. What they wanted is they just wanted to extract from you. And many times you would be with the narcissist and you would be verbalizing and or vocalizing your thoughts or your concerns or your questions. And what would the narcissist be doing? They would be tuning you out. They would either be on one of their smartphones or giving you one of these like, yeah, just wait a minute, I'll be there, yeah, wait. Or, well, let's talk later, or give me time. We'll talk about this tomorrow, or I'm too busy, or flat out, maybe they would just be stonewalling you or giving you the silent treatment. But you weren't heard in the narcissistic relationship. And over time, the more and more that you were being unheard, in other words, the narcissist was not listening to you, the more you began to doubt yourself and the more you stayed in the narcissistic fog and or the devaluation stage. And when you are not heard, in other words, when you're not communicating or someone is not communicating with you on the same level, it's very frustrating, it's very difficult because you do feel alone, which you were, you do feel isolated, which you were, and you do feel that you're not being heard because you weren't. Now, there are so many different layers to the narcissistic relationship, and these layers, they go deep, and being unheard is one of these. So example, let's put the narcissistic relationship on the side for a moment. If you're with a healthier individual and you have an issue or a question or a concern or something you want to communicate with them, my hope is you can sit down and talk with them. Perhaps grab a cup of coffee and exchange your ideas and or perspectives about the topic and come to some resolution, or at least you can gain some wisdom from this person. And then you go about and you do what you need to do. But the point is that person heard you. They listened to you. They didn't put their smartphone in front of you. They just gave you their attention and their time. And these people, if you have these kind of people around you in your inner circle, they're valuable. They're extremely valuable because these are the people that will tell you when you're doing well or perhaps that you need some help. You know, perhaps you're neglecting a certain aspect and they're there to help you out and to pick you up. And that's called a support system. Now, was the narcissist a support system for you? No, they weren't. Remember, they were not available when you needed them the most. And you could say that throughout any part of the relationship. Perhaps when you got sick or injured, perhaps when you needed a ride somewhere, perhaps when you had to pay a bill, perhaps the biggest of all, when you got discarded and or if the relationship ended. They weren't there. There's no way. Remember, the narcissist flies by night, which means they're always jumping from person to person, business to business, place to place, relationship to relationship, because they can't sit still. They're always looking for your replacement. And going back to the thumbnail, being unheard, when you are having difficult times or difficult experiences in a relationship, you need someone to talk to. You need someone to give you perspective, like I mentioned. The narcissist won't give this to you. They won't, because they want you suffering. They want you in the narcissistic fog. They don't want you getting help. They don't want you improving. They want you down in the mud with them. That's exactly where they want you. And the narcissist knows this. That's why many times the narcissist begins, let's say, projects or ideas or things, and they don't finish them. Why? Because they don't really care. And it's the flavor of the month. Example, let's say it was gardening, or it was skiing, or it was reading books. The narcissist rarely, I should say, sees things through. They always are starting new ideas or projects or hobbies, and then that hobby or project will become old and rusty, and they'll find a new one. That's, if you really think about what I'm saying, drop comments below, because that's exactly it. The narcissist doesn't want to hear from you or any of your concerns or issues. But when you're in the narcissistic relationship, being unheard is exactly what you are. You're not being heard by the narcissist because they don't want to give you your attention. Remember, when you're in the relationship with the narcissist, you believe that they have the answers to the questions that you will ask, and they don't. Remember, the narcissist needed you. You didn't need the narcissist. The only difference is when you were in the relationship with the narcissist, you didn't know what narcissism was, so you believed that you needed them. That's not the truth. The truth of the matter is it's the exact opposite. The narcissist needs individuals. They need people as sources of supply to regulate themselves and to make them feel better about themselves while putting the other individuals down or just extracting resources from them. Again, that's what they do. But when you're being unheard, this actually can snowball. Example, if you are with an individual and you're trying to express your opinions or your insight or your perspective and they're not listening to you, okay, that's one thing, fine. Okay, that happens sometimes, I get it. But then if you're with the individual again, let's say in a week or so, or a couple of days or tomorrow, and it happens again, that's a big red flag. And now that's twice that you have not been able to be heard about your perspective, whatever we're talking about. That's not a coincidence. And then if it happens again the third time, then all of a sudden, no, what's going on here? That means that person, whoever it is, maybe it turns out to be a narcissist, they're screaming at you with a huge red flag saying, I don't care. I'm not going to listen to you because I don't want to. And more importantly, I want to invalidate you and have you feel less than the whole time I'm getting supply from this, me not paying attention to you or listening to you. And the cycle continues. So, example, let's say it's post-narcissistic relationship. Were you being heard then? No, you weren't. You were being unheard. Again, let's say, and I'm not trying to trigger you, but let's say that the relationship ended and you were looking for answers and you were reaching out to people who turned out to be flying monkeys or the narcissists themselves way back when. Were they listening to you? No, they didn't care. That's most likely when the mask officially slipped, and perhaps that's when you were discarded, and they're saying, oh my gosh, I have this person. I just discarded them. Their life is in shambles. My hope is they don't pick themselves up because I want them down in the cesspool with me. That's what the narcissist is thinking. And they're not going to pay attention to you because they never have throughout the whole relationship. And post-narcissistic relationship, if you were discarded, that's many times when you're looking for closure, you're looking for answers, you're looking for some perspective from people, including the narcissist. And remember, the narcissist will never give you closure. They can't, they won't, they don't want to, and they never will. And the flying monkeys, were they listening to you? No, of course they weren't. Why? Because the smear campaign was well underway. That's another reason you were being unheard. So this, again, is a perfect storm. It's a perfect recipe where the narcissist planned on placing you. And remember, again, the discard was planned, whether you know it or not, it was planned. I can't say it was planned for a specific date or time, but your value to the narcissist, your resources were becoming so depleted that, believe me, they already had your replacement lined up. It's just a matter of time when they selected to discard you. But having said that, you weren't being heard in the relationship at all because the narcissist just did whatever they wanted to, and they expected you to do whatever they wanted you to do. I hope you get that. So that's why in the relationship, you weren't being heard. You were being a pawn. You were being used, abused, manipulated, taken advantage of, and everything was being taken from you. Fast forwarding to the ending of the relationship, if you were discarded, that's what they did. They did it on purpose, and you were being unheard again. People didn't want to hear your side of the story. Why? Because most of the people had already been informed misinformation by the narcissist, hence the smear campaign, and your name was painted black all over the place, I'm sure. And that's how it works with the narcissist. Remember, these people are master manipulators. They are frequently 1, 2, 3, 5 steps in front of the unsuspecting individual or the target, which was you, but it's not anymore because you're on the channel. And again, thank you very much for being here. But the new supply, that's another example. That's what's happening with them right now, wherever they are on the globe. But once I'm talking about the person watching the video, once you get the education, the wisdom, you become awakened and aware, and you understand exactly what you went through, which is the narcissistic relationship, then you begin to be heard, not only by me and the community, but by people in general, healthier individuals that will be there for you, that will be there to support you. You see, we want to leave the toxicity, the negativity behind in the past. We want to move forward, live our best lives, and become the best versions of ourselves, which is the third version of you. Remember, the first version of you was who you were before you met the narcissist. The second version of you was when you were in the narcissistic relationship. And the third version of you, the most powerful one, is you post-narcissistic relationship once you've healed. That's now the best version of you, the galvanized version of you. This is now your new superpower, which is your education on the narcissistic abusive cycle. But before I close the video out, I want to let you know that being unheard is a very frustrating thing. It's very difficult, not just in narcissistic abusive relationships, but in general. We all have a voice. We all should have the power and the privilege to use it, to express ourselves in a polite, civil manner, to let other individuals know how we feel or what our thoughts are or what our perspective is. Notice I said polite, civil manner. That's instrumental because we don't want to be expressing our opinions or our perspective in a negative way. You want to let people, everyone should have an opportunity to speak and voice their express themselves is what I'm trying to say, but in a nice civil manner. And when you were in the narcissistic relationship, you couldn't do that because you were a pawn, you were a puppet, you were being abused and used. Now that you're out of the relationship, my hope is you're living your best life and you are being heard because that's what you deserve. You deserve healthy individuals around you in reciprocal relationships that benefit you and the other party. Guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from beautiful Costa Rica. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great evening. Stay true, stay blessed. Continue to become awakened and aware and understand you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. And in the past, you were being unheard, I can assure you. Some of you for a long period of time. I get it. But now my hope is you have put the narcissistic relationship in the past and or all toxic relationships. You're moving forward. You are being heard. You're learning, you're growing, you're teaching if you can, and you're becoming the best version of yourself. Guys, no matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you. Have a great evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. All right. Good night, you guys. And I am always listening, so you are always being heard by me. I love you. Good night. Bye.